What's going on? All these weird videos on TikTok that are like, they're kind of adverts, but I don't know what they're advertising. I mean, what's the deal with these videos where it's just a bunch of people, like, pretending to be asleep?
Wake up! Wake up! FBI, open up!
Or pretending to be in an office job. And then they have people who are watching their live stream press buttons. One of them is the guy who, he seems to be forever trying to build a house of cards. You might have seen him.
So don't send a galaxy, otherwise I have to knock this whole card tower down. If we get literally one more galaxy, I have to knock this card tower down. Let me just finish.
He's got like the sad face filter on, and he's just getting very frustrated the whole time that people keep sending a galaxy, whatever the fuck that is, and when they send a galaxy, he has to knock the card house down and start again. I've seen this about 40 times, at different times of the day and night. Am I to believe that this man is just relentlessly trying to build a house of cards and knocking them down and screaming into the camera for days, weeks on end? And if so, what does he get out of that? It just doesn't make sense. Like these ones with the big screen, they've got a stick and they've got a big screen that looks like a giant smartphone, and they're just liking random profiles and following people randomly. There's the one where it's like a bath of crystals, and they're just like, it's just a vibrating bath, and they're just like scooping out random crystals. There's lots of people doing this. There's one that looks like he's dressed like Spider-Man, and you can stop him from being Spider-Man by pressing a button which plays a fart sound effect. Why?
Okay, you know how in rom-coms the characters always have cute but very obscure jobs that are also going to become like a metaphor for everything else that they're going through in their lives? I can't stop thinking about a rom-com where they meet and she's like, so what do you do? And he's like, I wash rugs on TikTok. And she's like, are you serious? You're the guy that washes rugs on TikTok? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, okay, you have to be honest with me. I've always wondered, do you add extra stuff to make the rugs dirty before you wash them? Because I feel like there's no way they're coming to you that dirty. And he's like, no, I would never. That would totally betray the integrity of my trade or whatever. But she totally doesn't believe him. And then there's also this theme throughout the movie of him like not being willing to like fully open up to her or like admit some messy things that have happened in his past or whatever. And it makes her kind of nervous. And so as his final grand gesture, he invites her to the rug washing studio. And then when they get there, he's like, okay, I have to admit something to you finally. Yes, we do make the rugs dirty before we wash them. And she's like, I knew it. And so then he like starts sharing some stuff that's happened in his past that's been hard for him to talk about as they're hurling stuff at the rug to make it dirty, but then they wash it too.
Know your shit. Subscribe and ring the bell.
Definitions for different types of animal shit, right? That's weird if you think about it, you know? Because if someone tells you a lie, you're like, that's bullshit, right? If someone's being a little baby, what do you call them? Ah, you're a chicken shit, you know? And if something looks bad or is bad, well, that's dog shit, you know? Totally different meanings based on what animal shit it out, you know? That's not even all animals either, right? Like cat shit doesn't mean anything. It just means the cat took a shit, right? You know, it's weird. Cat shit doesn't mean jack shit. How does that make sense? Who's Jack, by the way? It must be tough to learn English, you know? Because you can't screw them up, right? You can't be like, hey, you look like bullshit. I think you mean dog shit? Why don't you learn the language already? What kind of dipshit doesn't know the difference between bullshit and dog shit? Like, if you lose your shit and you're crazy, then you're batshit, right? But if you lose your shit and you're angry, then you're ape shit. You're like, who came up with all these rules, you know? What kind of horse shit is that? Who was at the zoo that one fateful day? Maybe that's who Jack was, right?
If you fuck around, you're going to find out. Subscribe and ring the bell.
Now there's a few things that I've noticed after looking at your profile. For one, you're a white dude. 2, I've noticed that you're a truck driver. Interesting. 3, I saw a video on your profile talking about how your grandfather passed away. May he rest in peace. Now the most important rule, which you should know this as a truck driver, is to stay in your lane. Otherwise you might end up like your grandfather.
Mexican mom with giant
I'm
spider.
waking up in a Pop Smoke concert. Please like and subscribe.
You'll never find another girl like me ever again. There's no one else like me. Oh my god.
Fragile white people talking about historic architecture.
Look at all these
the videos
glorious,
are sometimes
ancient
long.
European architecture. Aren't they just wonderful? Sometimes you really forget that humans are capable of such greatness. These were all made by extraterrestrials. There is no way those stupid desert-dwelling camel jockeys are capable of such greatness. They're way too stupid and simple-minded. We don't even have the technology to replicate this. Aliens came to Earth, dropped some shit, and left.
Official Russia propaganda. TikTok is the best and safest social media platform.
Да, переезжаем.
Америка самая свободная страна. Страна возможностей.
Вы с мужем летите?
Да, мы вместе. Он сейчас подойдет. А вот и мой муж. Знакомьтесь.
Эмили.
Простите, мистер. Пассажиры позади вас вегетарианцы. Им неприятно, что при них употребляют мясо.
Мы же их не заставляем это.
Простите, но в США принято придерживаться принципа демократии. Позвольте, я это заберу.
Парень, тут очередь в туалет.
What do you want?
В очередь, говорю, встань в туалет.
I want to go to the toilet.
Простите, мистер, что случилось?
Да вот парень без очереди лезет тут.
И что? Вы не хотите его пропустить?
Я?
Конечно, конечно. Его надо пропустить. Мы подождем. Его народ долгие годы терпел притеснение белых. Мы перед всеми афроамериканцами в долгу. Простите нас, сэр.
Прошу вас. Вы не могли бы пересесть в носовую часть самолета?
В смысле, я один?
Нет, вы все трое.
Зачем?
Там сзади пара, а не child-free. Дело в том, что ваш сын попадает в поле их зрения, и это вызывает у них дискомфорт.
Прости, матушка Россия! Мы возвращаемся!
There is little something for everyone in
20 years
this.
ago was even more chaotic, I think, than it is today. There were no rules, there were no filters. Basically, think of it as a giant funhouse, right? You would go into one room hoping for one kind of content, and you would get 20 other things that would be mostly deeply disturbing, and maybe you would kind of move on with your life and talk about the disturbing things that you stumbled upon on the internet 20 years later in therapy. Which is exactly how I stumbled upon my very first dirty fan fiction at the age of 13, totally by accident, because there was no tags and stuff. Of course, there was fanfiction.net, and I think it did have tags at the time, but there were also all of these like bootleg fanfiction websites that were built on things like X pages and Yahoo pages that were all Comic Sans and glitter and chaos. So anyway, I'm reading this Cardcaptor Sakura fanfiction. I have no idea what to expect, and suddenly things start to get really, really down and dirty. And of course, I'm shocked, horrified, appalled, and dramatically I sprint to my bedroom. My brain irrevocably changed, and I start sobbing. I am a broken human being at this point. Of course, now that I'm a shell of a human being, the only thing left to do is to tell my best friend, Laura, about this. So the next day I go to school, I tell Laura, oh my god, I read this horrible thing. I can't believe people are writing this, because, you know, back then I'm like dramatic and stuff. And she's like, I don't believe that this actually exists. You have no choice but to show me. So of course, the next day I show up at her house, and together we read it on her old school MacBook. And we were both like, oh my god, this is horrible. Why would someone write this thing? Because, you know, we're prudes. and we decide that we're never going to speak about this ever again. Weeks go by, Laura and I have moved on with our lives, and then one day I go to Laura and say, hey, is it okay if I come to your house? And she says, no, you can't. And I'm like, why? Why can't I go to your house? And she says, it's because she told her mom about the fan fiction that we read together. And the worst part is that she told her mom that I am the one who introduced her to the dirty fan fiction, and now her mom thinks I am a sexual deviant. So of course I'm absolutely dismayed that she would tell her mom this. And I'm just like, why didn't you at least say that you accidentally stumbled upon this? Why did you put this on me? And all she says is, I don't know. I don't know. So anyway, now I'm not allowed to go to my best friend's house for like literally a year or two. So anyway, then months go by, right? And I start to get really into Sailor Moon. And of course I'm shipping Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask really, really hard. And I start downloading all of this beautiful artwork of the two of them. And they're kind of like embracing or kissing or whatever. It's very romantic. And I thought it was very cute. But I keep it all in this like little private folder. I stuff it in a drawer right by my bed. And every so often I look at this folder and I think about true love and how beautiful it is. But I also am terrified that someday someone will discover this. And of course, one day it is my mom who in fact discovers it. So I go into my bedroom, I see my mom standing in the middle of the room. She has that folder, that sacred folder open, and she's like, Farah, what is this? And I'm just like, it's just artwork. And she's like, this is just like the time with Laura, isn't it? She knew about the whole thing with Laura, and so now my mom thinks I'm a sexual deviant. And the best part is, I now write rom-coms for a living. The world works in mysterious ways.
The accuracy. Hinged fingers, medium dark skin tone. Cool stuff it is doing. Marble. Cool stuff it is doing.
Marble bedside table? I'd die for this marble memory box. Well, I'm an actual ghost for this marble charcuterie board. I'm like resurrected by this marble shelf. Mirabelle. Also, Mirabelle. Mirabelle. Marble. 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 Marble.